It's time for another Blogging Plaza bite size. Top Gun Maverick. It was actually really good. I got nothing more to say. Bye. Okay, I was just kidding. I normally do that kind of joke when there's something that I don't want to talk about it, but you get the idea. Okay, Top Gun Maverick. Gotta say, man, that I almost missed that. If you remember some videos ago, I kind of just spout out saying that I never saw the original, making this kind of like the very big reason why I didn't watch Top Gun Maverick. That is until I'm beginning to hear a lot of people saying that, wow, Top Gun Maverick is the best. It's like one of the greatest movies ever. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but many people were really coming up saying that it's probably one of the best movies of this year, or probably the movie, but the best movie of this year. And then I was like, really? They're loving it that much? And in a way, I was kind of a little bit regretful that I couldn't watch it because I didn't see the original. That is until a good friend of mine who just came here for kind of like to do his own things. I wouldn't say vacation. It's just kind of like doing his own personal things with moving around the house and all these things. The point is that he just came here and he just told me, you know what? I want to watch Top Gun Maverick, and I know that you love movies. I want to see it with you, but I was like, unfortunately, I didn't watch the first Top Gun. Please do it. I only have a limited time here, so I want to watch it. Please, I want to watch it with someone. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I got the first Top Gun from the local library. As you can see it here, I still got it. I think I have to find a way to, to turn it back. And you know what? I like it. I like the movie. Oh, I thought that this movie was a time capsule of the 80s. They had a killer soundtrack. I like the acting. I like the characters. It felt like one of those stories about Tom Cruise wanting to be the best pilot that no one ever was, and then it ends up with a random mission and all these things. It felt like a good time capsule. If there's something I will criticize about that movie, is mostly the romance. The romance story, I found it kind of like pointless. It doesn't mesh well with the overall plot, and it felt unneeded. You could take out the romance plot, and then you wouldn't notice. But okay, maybe it was something that it was typical during those times, so it's passable enough. But honestly, I think that the characters of Maverick and Goose, and both actors, that was kind of like the biggest heart of the movie. They had a great chemistry, and when something incidental happened in the movie, I couldn't help but almost shed a tear. So it was a good thing that I saw that. So after I watched it, I texted my friend and I told him, I'm ready. I finally watched the first Top Gun. So we made some arrangement. We went to get some lunch, and then we went to watch the all over hyped Top Gun Maverick. And my God, I want to thank him. I want to thank him because if it wasn't for him, I would have missed probably one of the best movies I have seen this year. I came out really, really loving this movie. I really like it. And here I am. I'm gonna talk about it. Not to, I know that it's late, very, very late. I know that this movie came out kind of like weeks ago. But don't blame me. I haven't even watched the first movie, and I finally got my chance to actually talk about it. So, and since I don't want to, go very long with it. This is why I decided to make this a bite size. So basically, the movie it kind of takes place decades after the first one. We got Tom Cruise still playing Maverick again, and he grew up, being like this competent Navy pilot. And then he has been chosen to train a couple of newbies on Top Gun. For those who doesn't know, Top Gun is kind of like this elite pilot group that can do dangerous missions and all these things. But here's the thing: in this one, he has to train this new group of pilots in order to fulfill a mission that has to do with destroying some uranium cargo from an enemy and all these things. But at the same time, while he is training them, he realizes that one of those students is none other than the son of his best friend Goose that he lost during the first movie. This kind of begins to conflict, in between him, the new generation, the relationship between these two people due to a certain tragic accident that happened. And it meshes really, really well. It kind of came out like a good way to link up these two movies. Although, okay, maybe a lot of those movies that come back from many years could have done that same plot. But what makes this movie much different than the other? Well, in this case, it's the execution. It doesn't come off as really, really cynical. Like, for example, someone will look back and say that, we were stupid at that time. This is what I've been noticing a lot of times when they do these kind of movies, in which they always look like in the past by saying that, did we actually do that? No, this one doesn't do that, and mostly it embraces and finds a good balance into making a story that has both the old generation and the good generations, showing both their their pros and their cons. And it comes up great. I really like the relationship between Maverick and the son of Goose, who funnily enough, he's nicknamed Rooster. And even funnily enough, the child, he grew up to become almost exactly like his dad, even physically, with the same style, the same cranial structure, the same beard, and probably the same haircut. Which it was kind of like I'm watching doubles. That is weird, I'll say, and that is weird, I'll say. What else I can praise about this movie to make it quicker? Again, the new generation. It's kind of like these new characters. They're not asshole, and they didn't come up as cynical asshole. I like that. And also Tom Cruise. I reiterate that he was great on this one, and his character had kind of like a really, really believable arc and maturity compared to the other one. It comes off like this movie was actually pay attention of what the natural progression of these characters are. And let's all stuff. I also want to praise that it has some great soundtrack. Okay, some other soundtrack we found it very familiar, and some remixes, but they did really, really good. I'll say that. And also, what else I can say about this movie? There are flight scenes. The flight scenes, awesome. It's really awesome. That it is very, very, very little CGI. Tom Cruise and his team, and the director's team, they really push it on making everything so believable that even the sounds are. You feel like you're there. It was a while when I really felt that the seat trembling, and I wasn't in a movie theater that is known for having great sound equipment, but I could still feel those airplanes and the adrenaline when it happened. It was amazing. I really, really liked that. Man, that felt great. And the story progressions, I really like the arcs. Even it kept me on the edge of my seat. Uh, I really like that compared to the first one. The first one, it was technically just kind of like a story about I want to be the very best that no one ever was, and but this one it does that, and it does that, but it puts more stake into it because now they are training people in which they are gonna be aware that if they fail, they're gonna get killed. I really love that. But okay, I think I praised this movie enough. Let me go a little bit of a negative so we can go and balance it out. The things that I'm gonna say as a negative is more kind of like nitpicks. First of all, the pacing of the movie is very similar to the first one, unfortunately. You're gonna notice that it's gonna have some certain beats that looks familiar. The pacing is really similar to the first one. It kind of follows kind of like the same beats, but it's kind of different enough, and it feels somehow refreshing that maybe people who didn't watch the first movie is not gonna notice it. Since I did notice it, but it wasn't exactly bad. It gives you enough things to keep it a little bit refreshing, and it kind of comes out, like the excuse, like you when you go back to your old high school, and then you see all these people saying, "Hey, this kind of guy is acting kind of similar, like during my time." It's kind of proving that, well, technically the old generation and the new generation are not so different. So that's one thing. Although they did add a little bit of an extra layer of stake in order to keep it a little bit different. Another criticism I might say is the romance. I know that they didn't get the original actress, to reprise the role as his other girlfriend. I'm glad that they didn't technically mention that. I'll say they actually had a new romantic interest, but much like the first movie, it felt like, well, the chemistry is there, but is not exactly important. You could remove it and it will be a blink and miss and all these things. Actually the romantic interest that was more there for moral support. And speaking of moral support, while I'm at it, I forgot to also mention that they did manage to bring Val Kilmer reprising his role as Iceman. And seeing him here, it was really, really touching, and also a little bit sad considering how Val Kilmer's current health condition. Although the way they did that, they gave him a little bit more respect than what they did in The Snowman. The last time I saw him in that movie, maybe it was him. You know what? Maybe, yeah, I think it was Val Kilmer in that movie, but in which I do remember that while I was watching The Snowman, he was about to die on screen. Man, so honestly, I don't want to go so much because either way I might spoil it too much, but I am really, really happy to see a movie that like Top Gun Maverick. It kind of shows that you can go back to the past, and when you play the cards right, then you're gonna get not only a good movie, but also a really touching movie that doesn't feel cynical. It doesn't kind of lambaste the past or insult the new generation or the old generation, which is mostly what many of those are kind of doing. This one, it felt kind of like the right balance, the right choices on what they want to tribute. But anyway, that's all I have to say about Top Gun Maverick. It made my day, and boy, not else much I have to say. Top Gun Maverick just made my day.